Listen, Finesse, he was saying something like these rappers getting, what he say, bodies.
Something about a tummy tuck. Yeah, he most definitely, I think he most definitely threw a shot. They saying that he probably be talking about bag. Nah, you ain't talking about bag. A bag sharing in music.
Hey, bro, you want to talk about me? Nigga talking about bag. What you talking about? I ain't got no tummy tuck. My shit flapping.
Nobody expected this. The moment Pooh Shiesty stepped back into the free world after federal prison, Memphis went into chaos. Instead of laying low, he lit the match on what's already being called the most explosive rap beef of 2025. One single line from his comeback track instantly put the entire city in debate mode, picking sides, drawing lines, and reopening wounds that never really healed. Behind the celebrations, the jewelry, and the first day out energy, Shiesty dropped a bar so reckless that it left one of Memphis' most respected rappers feeling publicly disrespected. And this isn't just rap talk. What's fueling this situation runs way deeper: plastic surgery accusations, prison politics, old street alliances, and family loyalty that could permanently fracture the Memphis rap scene. What's good, y'all? Today we diving straight into the real Memphis street drama that's been shaking hip-hop ever since Pooh Shiesty touched down and immediately threw a lyrical grenade. Now, let's keep it real for a second. Social media wasted no time saying Shiesty came home from the feds with one mission: start beef with Finesse2Tymes. But before we run with internet narratives, we gotta separate what's real from what's rumor. Early 2025 marked a turning point. Pooh Shiesty, fresh out after doing his time, was supposed to be focused on his comeback. Instead, he dropped First Day Out, and one specific line flipped the entire city upside down. And don't get this twisted, this isn't just another rap diss. This situation touches real street politics, real family ties, and allegations that can ruin reputations and end careers in Memphis. Here's where things get spicy. On First Day Out, Shiesty raps about street dudes getting tummy tucks, basically calling certain rappers fake and manufactured. In Memphis culture, that's not a joke. Accusing someone of plastic surgery isn't about looks, it's questioning their authenticity, their toughness, their entire image. The internet exploded. Millions of views in under a day, trending on every platform. Memphis bloggers dissecting every word, trying to figure out exactly who that line was aimed at. And what made it hit harder was how precise it felt. This wasn't random. It sounded calculated, like Shiesty knew exactly who would feel it. At first, Finesse2Tymes played it smart. In interviews, he laughed it off, saying the internet was doing what it always does and that the song wasn't about him. That response showed maturity, like he wasn't interested in feeding the drama or escalating things unnecessarily. But here's what people outside Memphis don't always understand. When someone's been locked up in federal prison, all their information comes secondhand. Calls, letters, visits, everything filtered. So when you come home, your view of situations can be based on outdated stories or incomplete truths. And this is where the situation really shifted. Finesse's own circle, including his brother, spoke out and basically confirmed that Shiesty was taking shots at him. When your own family says you've been disrespected, that changes everything. At that point, it's no longer about social media noise, it's about pride, perception, and how your name is being carried. In Memphis, allegations like this carry serious weight. Calling someone a street dude with surgery is basically saying they're not who they claim to be. In a city where reputation is everything, those are fighting words. But then Finesse flipped the narrative. He claimed the bar wasn't aimed at him at all. He said it was really about Moneybagg Yo. And to understand why that theory makes sense, you have to look at the long-running tension involving Big 30 and Moneybagg Yo, a situation that's been quietly dividing Memphis for years. Let's break that down. Big 30 and Moneybagg Yo were once close. Big 30 was signed under Moneybagg's Bread Gang through CMG. They collaborated, toured together, and looked like the next unstoppable Memphis movement. Everything changed in January 2022. Big 30's cousin, Nusky, was killed, and according to Big 30, Nusky wasn't just family. He was deeply involved in street matters tied to protecting Moneybagg during a period when Moneybagg was allegedly under pressure in Memphis. Nusky was active, respected, and loyal. On January 28, 2022, after showing love at Big 30's school performance, Nusky was later found shot and killed in Whitehaven, the same neighborhood that raised him. That moment shattered everything. What really broke the bond, though, was what came after. Moneybagg posted heartbreak emojis online, appearing devastated. But when it came time to show up in real life at the funeral, people noticed who wasn't he there. And from that point on, Memphis was never the same. In street culture, not showing up to someone's funeral, especially when you call them family, is one of the deepest violations there is. That's not a small mistake. That's a statement. It tells the streets that all that love you posted online wasn't real. Big 30 felt like Moneybagg Yo had used him and his cousin for protection. According to Big 30, they helped build Moneybagg's image, helped earn him respect in the city. But when loyalty was really tested, when blood was spilled, Moneybagg was nowhere to be found. That's when everything exploded. Big 30 went public and went nuclear. He made it clear he wasn't with shortcuts or fake images. He said he works out, puts in the work, and earns everything naturally, not paying doctors to reshape his body or face. That was a direct shot at long-running rumors that Moneybagg had gotten cosmetic procedures done. The message was simple: real street dudes wear scars, not surgery. Moneybagg wasn't letting that slide. He fired back with airball, and that response was ruthless. He accused Big 30 of being disloyal, sneaky, and trying to move behind his back. He denied the allegations and claimed he had done more for Big 30 than Big 30 ever admitted publicly. But the coldest moment, when he demanded Big 30 return the Bread Gang chain, basically saying he wasn't solid enough to represent the brand anymore. Now here's the part nobody can ignore. If Pooh Shiesty was really dissing Moneybagg with that tummy tuck line, why did Moneybagg repost the song and tag Shiesty? And why did Shiesty repost it right back, showing love? That doesn't add up if there's real smoke between them. Here's where things get tricky. That bar may have been written while Shiesty was still locked up in federal prison. At that time, Big 30 and Moneybagg were actively beefing. And when you're behind bars, everything you hear comes through phone calls, letters, and your day one circle. Your view of the world gets shaped by the people you trust most. And if you know Memphis history, you already know this part. Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 go way back. Same streets, same crew, same Cho gang. Before the fame, before the labels, before the cameras, they were really outside together. When your day one is beefing, that beef doesn't stop just because you're behind bars. That's street loyalty 101. Cho gang wasn't just rap branding. Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, Lil Hank, they built a reputation in South Memphis long before music money entered the picture. So when Big 30 felt disrespected, that disrespect didn't stop with him, it extended to the entire circle. Meanwhile, Finesse2Tymes has stayed consistent. He has said publicly that he respects Shiesty's music and doesn't he feel any real way about the situation. He even admitted he made a song while he was emotional, but later realized it wasn't that deep. That's grown man energy. But his brother stepping in changed the tone completely. When family starts confirming you got dissed, it puts pressure on you to respond. At that point, it's no longer about the internet, it's about respect, perception, and how your name moves in the streets. Your own blood is basically asking, so what you gonna do about it? And that's why this situation is so dangerous. Because Shiesty could have been talking about Finesse, he could have been talking about Moneybagg, or he could have been talking about both. That's the power and the risk of subliminal bars. They leave room for interpretation and misunderstandings that can spiral fast. And don't forget, Pooh Shiesty just came home from federal prison. On federal supervision, every move is watched. Every word matters. One wrong step can cost everything. So now the question isn't who got dissed. The real question is, what happens next? Drop a comment right now. Who do you think the line was really aimed at? Hit like if you rock with Memphis hip-hop and want more real breakdowns like this. Subscribe and turn on notifications because if the situation escalates, you already know we'll be the first to break it down. This story is far from over, so it's possible that line wasn't meant to ignite any real conflict at all. Maybe Pooh Shiesty was just speaking on how he feels about the culture as a whole. That's something people need to consider. On the industry side, Finesse2Tymes is already established. He's built his own label, his own movement, and he's respected across the South. Shiesty, on the other hand, is coming home trying to rebuild after doing time. Truth is, neither one of them really benefits from unnecessary drama. But the streets don't always move based on what makes the most business sense. For those who don't really understand Memphis street culture, here's the reality: this is a small city, and everybody knows everybody. When you throw a shot at someone, it doesn't just hit that individual. It affects their entire circle, their crew, their family, and how they're viewed in the streets. Memphis has already lost too many talented people to beefs and street politics, which is why situations like this are always serious and potentially dangerous. In street culture, cosmetic surgery is often looked at as breaking the code. The expectation is that real street dudes are comfortable with scars, imperfections, and the wear that comes with the life. Once people start hearing about body work or face work, it raises questions about whether someone is still standing on the same principles, or if they've drifted from where they came from. At the core, it's about authenticity and staying true to your roots. Another thing that gets overlooked is how prison changes a person's perspective. When you're locked up for years, all your information comes secondhand. Phone calls, letters, visits. By the time you come home, your understanding of certain beefs or situations can be outdated or missing key details. So it is very possible that Shiesty was reacting to information that was old or to problems that had already been settled. In Memphis, loyalty usually outweighs money. You might have business opportunities with someone, but if they disrespected your people, that relationship is done. That's what makes a situation so layered. It is not just rap beef. It is built on real relationships and real loyalty that go back years. Social media has also completely changed how these conflicts play out. Back in the day, problems stayed in the streets. Now, every lyric gets broken down online. Fans choose sides before the artists even address anything. That online pressure can turn something small into a major situation that never gets a chance to be handled privately. At the end of the day, this isn't just about lyrics in a song. It's about how these artists move forward in their careers. Shiesty just came home and is trying to regain momentum. He's talented, he's got support, but he also has to move carefully because he's on federal supervision. Every move matters. Finesse2Tymes is in a different position. He's established, respected, and running his own operation. But in Memphis, respect is everything. If the perception is that you are disrespected and didn't respond correctly, that can impact how people view you both in the streets and in the industry. That's why these moments are so sensitive. Moneybagg Yo reposting the song suggests either that Shiesty wasn't talking about him, or that whatever tension existed has already been addressed. Still, the streets don't forget, and that unresolved Big 30 situation continues to sit under the surface. Moneybagg sharing the song could also be a strategic move, showing he isn't too bothered by a few bars. This situation also affects other artists in Memphis. If you're cool with both Shiesty and Finesse, you might eventually feel pressure to choose a side. That is how beef spreads and pulls in people who had nothing to do with the original issue. For Shiesty specifically, being on federal supervision means everything he does is being watched. If this situation escalates and turns physical, the consequences could be severe. That reality has to play a role in how he handles things going forward. So the real question is, where does this go from here? Shiesty has momentum right now. His release buzz is strong, his music is performing, and the streets are supporting him. But one wrong move could send him right back to prison. Finesse seems interested in keeping things calm, but continued pressure from his circle or the streets could force a more direct response. In hip-hop, silence is sometimes mistaken for weakness, even when responding isn't the smartest option. Memphis hip-hop is strongest when its artists move together instead of against each other. The city has already lost too many lives and careers to internal conflict. Past situations have shown how quickly things can spiral out of control. This is also about the bigger picture. Memphis is finally receiving the national recognition it deserves, with artists like Moneybagg Yo, Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, and Finesse2Tymes all making noise. Internal beef risks damaging the entire scene and pulling attention away from the music. Ultimately, this situation highlights how complex Memphis street politics really are. It's not just about music, it's about loyalty, respect, family, federal supervision, industry pressure, and social media all colliding at once. Behind the tough images, these are real people dealing with real consequences. Shiesty is focused on rebuilding and providing for his family. Finesse wants to protect his name and continue building his empire. Neither one likely wants chaos, but sometimes the culture pulls people into it. Whether that bar was aimed at Finesse, Moneybagg, or the culture as a whole, one thing is undeniable: words carry weight. In Memphis, every line matters, every lyric gets dissected, and one record can permanently change relationships. Hopefully, cooler heads prevail because the city has too much talent and too much potential to lose it to internal conflict.